An enchanted beetroot?
BTR enchanted beetroot?
I like
Go
that.
off, Paul. Why didn't Paul just devote himself to this all along?
Hello and welcome.
We are, or I am, thrilled that Paul, we don't know how to say his last name,
Paul
Olliges?
Oligarchies.
We've been calling him Paul Oligarchy behind the scenes. Paul's written a kid's book, and apparently he spent 10 years working on it. And one thing about us is we love dissecting kids fiction. We just spent a year and a half reading 10 Issues Among the Nephites, which is a Mormon kids fiction book on our Patreon, and I think we're good at what we do.
I thought you were going to say we love taking a huge amount of time to finish a project.
That is also true. Yeah, so when I heard that Paul had a book, I was like, we obviously have to read it. We have to find out what it's all about. We love diving in to an author's psyche at the end of the day, and we've been fascinated with Paul for years, and I think sometimes there's no better way to truly get to know someone's mind than by reading their fiction.
Yeah. Through their art.
They can say more in their fiction than they can on their YouTube channel sometimes.
Yeah.
Even in their raw and vulnerable vlogs.
So true.
Oh. Sorry, some of you are not going to like how much I'm like, oh, about Paul. I'll read the little blurb on the back just so we all kind of know what we're in for. Pabs, the book is called Pabs, Legend of Bloodfang.
Pabs?
Pabs wants to fight monsters. What's stopping him? The stupid village laws require war elf parentage. Oh, so you have to like be from the right
War elf
group to be allowed to fight monsters.
If I had known we were doing this today, I would have worn my elf ears. I would have
Yeah. Because he can't believe his pointed ears when it's announced that the monster I know. It's like the level of moment-to-moment prophecy that we have when we do these reviews. Like when you just mentioned Neptune and the 10 Issues Among the Nephites finale, and then it just mentioned Neptune in it's mind-blowing. This is a powerful space. He can't believe his pointed ears when it's announced that the Monster Protection Squadron, MPS, is holding open tryouts. Any elf, no matter the bloodline, is invited. Pabs and his faithful younger brother, Steed, put on an impressive show, landing them 2 spots in the squadron. Oh, he's telling us a lot of info in the blurb. Once lowly sheep herders, they are now MPS warriors. Life is looking way up. But when Pabs and Steed head off on their first scouting mission and discover that a mighty wolf beast called Bloodfang has entered their borders, and this is going to be interesting for a few reasons so far.
Yes. We're getting what seems to be an anti-racist moral setup. Is that the idea?
Well, originally it was feeling very anti-racist because it's like, oh, he's not from the right group, but they're giving him a chance. You know, it's kind of like
when Paul knows all about.
Yep. Which, as a Handsome white man,
it's a good message.
It's a good setup. Bloodfang has entered their borders and is amassing a hobgoblin army. They understand the reason they were recruited. Will Pabs rise to the occasion or become Bloodfang's toothpick instead?
A hobgoblin army.
There's going to be hobgoblins? What is the difference between a goblin and a hobgoblin?
It's a goblin with hobbies.
Ooh.
So kind of like me when I'm like collaging till 2 a.m. like
more
naked
manic
in my room, just like that's a hobgoblin.
So interesting. Paul Olliges is an elementary education major. Didn't know that.
Didn't know that either.
That adds to he's got this whole side of him. He's like, he never talks about his teaching. The lessons he learned teaching. Maybe he does.
I've got such a zinger, but I'm saving it. I'm not saying it.
Paul is an elementary education major and kids literature connoisseur. And in addition to writing books, Paul plays competitive pickleball and runs a YouTube channel with 159k subscribers. He's got his 100k plaque. Must be nice, Paul.
Damn.
Paul lives in Lexington, Kentucky with his wife, Morgan. So, Tanner, are you ready to dive into Pabs, Legend of Bloodfang?
I am ready to dive into Pabs, Legend of Bloodfang.
What will
Despite
we learn?
not being a war elf.
Sounds like we're going to be touching, I mean, it's a fantasy, but we're touching on some themes that are kind of eternally relatable. Class systems, it sounds like.
Pacifism as a race.
Borders. Chapter 1, Warrior Pabs. Oh, just seamless transition from 10 issues. It's crazy. And we're at war again already. Oh my God. The wind hummed with anticipation. The wind again. The wind was a big character in 10 Issues Among the Nephites. Sorry if we keep referencing that.
And for everybody in this world, you understand. We're all wedded with the wind, right? You get it. That little kiss on your cheek that you know she loves you. That's just the human birthright.
She doesn't have to say it, but you know.
Yeah.
We darted about like ghosts, unseen and unheard. There were 12 warriors in my patrol. I had selected them all. We were the finest that the Monster Protection Squadron, MPS, could offer. I came up behind a patch of ferns and raised a fist to signal a halt. I scanned the wood. Nothing moved. So far, I'm not getting any signs that this isn't just a normal, strong kids' book author. One of our number crept close and whispered, "They're not here." I drew a deep breath and focused my senses. Wait. 5 seconds passed. 10 seconds. A tree branch twitched. "Fan out," I ordered. My keen elfish eyes caught the sheen of flashing metal. I love that. I love keen elfish eyes.
Yeah, and I love announcing the thing that you are. Like, I all the time am like, my powerful human eyes.
As an elf,
or my kind of
something's
shoddy
amiss.
human eyes.
I leapt to the side as an arrow pierced my fern covering. "He's in the pine," Steed said, pointing. "Good eye, Steed," I said. My brother Steed was our youngest warrior.
Wait, an arrow hit him?
Pierced my fern covering.
Oh,
I think his
an arrow
sort
of light.
No.
Or just an arrow pierced. Just
I think
the
he
general.
has ferns protecting him.
I see. You never know if he's one of those elves that's like wearing ferns, like I am when I'm at the music festival. You know?
Yeah, like where does shelter or armor end?
Yeah,
and
exactly.
The self begin.
I don't know what kind of elves these are. They're not even allowed to join the military or whatever.
Steed was our youngest warrior and small for his age, but he was brave and perceptive. "Come with me." With a reckless courage, Steve and I charged the pine tree. All around us, armed hobgoblins. That is a tongue twister to say hobgoblin.
Yeah, it's definitely.
Hobgoblin. Jumped down from their tree hideouts.
You can just be goblin. Like, it's still just a goblin, even if you say a hobgoblin.
Fucking terrifying. A bunch of hobgoblins jumping out from the trees at you.
Yeah.
Their hunched bodies I think that's supposed to say shone pale green in the moonlight, but shone is spelled shone. That's not supposed to be shown, right?
Shone pale green.
Shone.
They were.
Shone pale green.
Shone.
Do we know if Paul had an editor? Not as far as I know. Anyway, my warriors attacked. 2 hobgoblins, one wielding a spear and the other a curved gutter, rushed in from our left. What's a curved gutter?
Just like a scimitar, maybe?
What's a scimitar?
Just kind of a curved sword. I don't know.
The first hobgoblin.
They're communists who's doing the sickle and hammer thing.
The first hobgoblin aimed a spear
Hobcommons.
thrust at my chest, which Steed blocked with a flying kick.
Yeah.
Pretty badass to fend off a spear with a kick.
Yeah.
Risky move.
Definitely.
This is no normal younger brother.
Yeah, for a pacifist elf, he sure is a mighty warrior.
Why do you think he's a pacifist elf? Oh, just because they're not allowed to, they don't
they're
have
not
war
the war
elf parentage.
Yeah, so he can't
he's not allowed to
join the
fight
Hunters
monsters.
Union.
But this is weird because it says he can't believe his pointed ears when it's, oh, okay, like they're already in the monster protection squadron. But everyone in the squadron can't kill monsters.
They're in the monster protection squadron?
This
They
is for
protect
kids.
from
This
monsters
is,
or for the monsters? This is like witness protection?
This plot is way too advanced.
I think he's trying to fight monsters.
Definitely.
And he protects from them.
And he's not hiding that. It's first line of the blurb.
Yeah.
I struck out with my staff. Crack. Shards of shattered spear sprayed in all directions. Woohoo! I yelled, spinning into the air. My follow-through swing found the exposed head of hobgoblin number 2. He thudded to the ground, unconscious. Is this not killing monsters? Is there a different type of monster?
He's slaying monster. He's slaying hobgob.
I don't get.
He's
So you're
knee deep.
he is allowed to slay the hobgoblins.
Yeah, he just can't go into monster to witness protection.
Only the elites can slay the scary monsters we don't know about yet.
Yeah, or like excessive amounts of gob.
Why does
like gobs and gobs and gobs?
Every book we read leaves me feeling like, am I so stupid?
You just don't like war facts.
It's true. I do have a really hard time following war as a storyline. He thudded to the ground unconscious. I sprinted onward, the rush of combat filling my lungs and shooting through my fingertips. In the pine up ahead, the lowermost branches gave way. A hobgoblin, still grasping a wooden shortbow, dropped to the forest floor. He fixed me in his sights and fired. Ah! I winced as the arrow clipped my arm. Pabs! Steed yelled. I'm fine, stay behind me. The hobgoblin made ready to shoot again. I reared back and hurled my staff. It connected, and the bow leapt from his hand. The next moment I was before him. I flipped my dagger from its sheath. The tip hovered not an inch from his scaly throat. I'll take it from here, Steed, I said. My bro chap's footsteps raced off to join the others. This word bro-chap.
My bro chap.
I don't get it, but the acknowledgements at the beginning of this book says, to my bro chap and the countless adventures we shared. Oh. This is really giving tennis shoes among the Nephites, like Chris Heimerdinger writing his fiction story.
If I ever take 10 years to write a book, it'll be dedicated to my bro chap.
Straight men yearn for war.
They do.
And it's so healthy for them to put it into fiction like this.
I just watched a TikTok of breaking down the movie Predator. you know, the Arnold Schwarzenegger Predator versus Aliens kind of thing. Apparently, I haven't seen it, but now I want to.
Hamlet. The plot of Hamlet.
I mean, it's all just
Hamlet.
it's all the play that will not be named, not in this theater.
Is that my...
Or I don't say the H word for different reasons.
Or the M word, because we can usually not remember which one it is.
The what word?
Macbeth, I think, is the one.
M word.
Yeah, I think that's... But it's best to just not say either if you don't remember which one it is.
Yeah. I just try not to reference any works of Shakespeare ever.
Yeah. When I was an insufferable teenager, I had this poster on my wall with all of these quotes from Shakespeare, but it was like, if you say this, and it was just like all these common things that everyone says all the time, then you are quoting Shakespeare.
Oh,
like, you think you can't quote Shakespeare, but we all quote Shakespeare.
You think Wednesday just has always existed? It hasn't. Wednesday is Shakespeare.
Shakespeare.
They didn't have noon before Shakespeare.
It's just sundials and vague vibes. This seems like well written so far, right? Except for that misspelling of Sean.
Yeah, my human ears are hearing it, and my human brain is taking it in.
Yeah.
So
my bro chap's footsteps raced off to join the others.
Bro chaps.
You've been hitting the Martinellis hard today.
Yeah, it's like a little... I forgot to pour it into the fancy glass, but just need a little pick-me-up. I was going to say about Predator. It's about like men who yearn for like intimacy, who war becomes this like area for them to
bond, because that's what we saw from Jim and Garth in Tennis Shoes.
To bond, and like how they are when they become like stalked and hunted and vulnerable in the ways that they have treated others.
Yeah, it actually does scare me that in societies that have been exposed to more war, like war can really just bring out the worst in human nature on every side. It can really, just like lower the baseline of ethics and empathy, and that is scary to me. You will not win, elf, the hobgoblin rasped, his breath ranked of sour meat. Reeked? Ranked? I've never heard ranked. Ranked of sour meat instead of...
They usually rank as a
like
adjective.
it smelled rank.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he maybe meant to use reeked.
Maybe. Who knows? Who tells? He's a Shakespearean type.
Exactly.
It's just like word art, you know?
You're in no place to talk, I said, backing the hobgoblin toward the base of the pine. He began to laugh. We have a secret. I glanced about me. Though greatly outnumbered, my warriors were giving the enemy a thrashing. Many hobgoblins lay dead or wounded. I had heard enough of this gibberish. A hard elbow to the temple and the hobgoblin crumpled into the tree. I reclaimed my staff and turned to join my companions, but stopped short when I noticed something else emerge from the shadows. My body stiffened. As I stared, the blackness took the shape of a beastly thing. It skulked toward me. I tried to move. My legs were frozen to the spot. I tried shouting out to my patrol, to my bro chap. Explain the use of bro chap. Explain, because it seems like it was a personal word for you in a private relationship we're not privy to.
I just don't like it. It's too much.
Bro chap, it's like in between like a brother and a boyfriend. It's like more than a friend, less than a brother, less than a
FWB.
lover. My voice was barely a whisper. It came closer, closer, closer. My eyes jerked open. A crow cawed in the distance. I shuddered. It had started as a perfect dream and ended a nightmare. It was all a dream. Well, it was all a nightmare.
It's always all a dream.
I sat up. Steed's tree hammock swayed gently in the moonlight. Oh, that's why they were killing monsters in the dream.
Oh, because he yearns to
That's why it didn't make
murder
sense.
and kill. And
well played, Paul. You had me there.
It was so real to me for a second.
Why couldn't it have been real? More than anything else in the world, I
wanted to shed blood.
Oh my God. I would never imagine being like, oh, why can't I be at war killing right now?
I hate that I am the victim of racism and I'm not allowed to unleash my violence on the world.
More than anything else in the world, I longed to be recognized as an MPS warrior. I sank back in my hammock, inwardly loathing the village laws that required war elf parentage. This fictional character is expressing frustration at the rules of his reality. The tight rules that won't let him do the thing he wants to do, which is shed blood in a warlike setting. Just interesting as an introduction.
Yeah.
Especially like the book that people first put out, like the one that's been like in their hearts, in their minds for, in this case, 10 years, Paul said. I think that's always like just so interesting. I was not born to herd sheep. I punched the side of my hammock. I was born to fight. Fascinating. So that was chapter 1. Should we keep going for a bit?
Yeah, let's go.
We're thinking we're just going to kind of read till we reach a stopping point that makes sense for us. And then we may finish this book on Patreon because it's fairly short.
And if we do, I will have elf ears.
Yeah. We will not do another episode of this without elf ears.
I'll bring some for you.
Never seen myself with elf ears.
You're going to love it. You'll never take them off.
Chapter 2, spiders. Ouch! Something smacked the underside of my hammock. Hey, wake up. What? I sat up and
You're in
squinted
another
my eyes.
dream.
Dream.
Every chapter is a new dream. And then he's just getting
Inception.
incepted.
The warmth of the sun told me it was already mid-morning. Ouch! Another object ricocheted off my hammock. Pabs! I leaned over the side of my hammock. Stop that, Steed, or I'll beat your butt. Come on, Steed said. We're grazing Farmer Brimes's herd today. If we're late to the stables, he'll cut our pay. They are just simple, humble stable boys, not allowed to go to war.
But he needs to follow his dream.
I know. He was born to shed blood. His dreams are telling him.
To slay
He was
all
born
the way.
to slay, but he's not allowed to slay. This is a story about a young boy that wants to slay.
He should be slaying Hob with the other warriors.
And give us an earful of shouting, I said with a yawn. I'm coming. I shimmied down the rope ladder tied next to my hammock and started pulling pieces of clothing off the line. Our home tree, or hero tree as we called it, was nothing fancy. A severely lopsided willow towards the... Sometimes Paul, I just noticed this, he was using toward. I feel like whether you write towards is just like a little telltale sign of if you're an amateur writer, because a lot of people say it. Or like, I don't know. I feel like it is
Toward you
conversational
versus-
enough that you could maybe use it in an essay, but in a book like this, you should probably just use toward. And Paul did use toward last chapter, but he said towards here. Sorry for being like this. I don't even believe in grammar as a thing. So.
But on one level, if you subscribe, then it ought to be noted.
If I was someone who a lopsided willow tree towards the center of Happy Wood clearing with 2 hammocks, a clothesline, and an old pine bench we brought from the woodsmith for cheap. Orphans as we were. It was the best we could do.
We're back in orphan literature, baby.
One thing about us, we love and resonate with orphans. We are all orphans of the universe, and orphans come up constantly. They came up in our MAGA romance novel.
In horrifying
In
ways.
Tennis Shoes Among the Nephites.
Yeah.
They were orphans. Orphans are just always coming up.
Yeah.
And they don't get enough attention. There was Annie, and then I feel like we've kind of just gone silent on them.
I thought we had fixed that. I thought there were no more parents don't die anymore.
Maybe it's just that. Orphans as we were, it was the best we could do. Beatty, our enchanted beetroot, love.
An enchanted beetroot?
Beatty, our enchanted beetroot.
I like
Go
that.
off, Paul.
I like that when you have an enchanted beetroot, you name
Yes.
it Beatty. That's great.
I love that.
It's like naming your cat
always
Kitty.
knew there was wholesomeness in Paul's psyche. I always knew it.
An enchanted beetroot?
Behind the bullshit
Who enchanted it?
lies a wholesome enchanted beetroot.
I just wonder if people who grow up with magic as a real, accessible, and daily integrated part of their life would even call it or recognize it as magic at all. Because isn't that a lot like our lives? Isn't it all a miracle? And
I
don't
did
we
see a
all-
TikTok about that the other day. How
Oh,
like
yeah.
with a lot of cultures, the things that we consider so spooky, like the times when you like weirdly have a dream and then that thing happens the next day, or you just get a sense that something's going to happen and then it happens and you're like, whoa, that's weird.
Mm-hmm.
In a lot of cultures, they just be like, yeah, that's how it is. But in our culture, we're like, what is that? We don't like mystery. Okay, I love that there's an enchanted beetroot in Paul's story. So BT, our enchanted beetroot, had climbed to the top of the bench to sunbathe. He sunbathed.
Doggy, our dog, enchanted dog.
His small purple body balanced peacefully on the ledge. His leafy arms were stretched skyward. We had purchased Beatty from a vendor at the Happy Harvest Festival 2 years back. Beatty was the closest thing we had to a pear.
Oh, wait, was it enchanted when you bought it or does it come pre-chanted?
Hard to know.
I need to know.
Morning, Beatty, I said. Yip, yip, he squeaked and ruffled his leaves.
Is this just the thing from the Marvel thing, the tree guy?
I'm so impressed. Why didn't Paul just devote himself to this all along? Once dressed, I went for my dagger and staff. These I always stashed at the base of our willow tree where the roots grew up out of the ground in a tangled mess.
Okay. Everyone knows a willow tree is the shit to be under
that's
the
where you want to be.
leafy locks of a willow tree.
Spiritually speaking, it doesn't get more powerful as a home base. Toss me a plum, Steed, I said, strapping on my dagger. I brought forth my shepherd's staff and whipped around just in time to catch the plum that was headed straight at my face. I said toss, not hurl. This is like the opening of a kid's movie so far, and I love it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a kid's book. I think he's gone all King David with it. The shepherd turned psychotic warrior king. He'll have 2,000 foreskins by the fortnight.
I said toss, not hurl. Steed only grinned. We set off at a hurried pace for Farmer Brimes's stables, which were located on the northwestern edge of the clearing. We took the route around the market. As much as I wanted to swing by Flutzy's Bakery for a long whiff of those breakfast pies. And there's the return of the pies. We couldn't chance getting held up in the morning crowds. A she-elf hauling a lumpy sack. I love
a she-elf.
It's like an elf, but a she.
It's a shelf. They call those a shelf.
A shelf hauling a lumpy sack about her shoulder. Hurried past us in the opposite direction. I cocked my head to watch her go by. I'd seen her before selling produce in the market. She wore a sleeveless vest revealing toned arms that were darkened by the sun. Her hair fell below her waist, just like Chris's fantasy in Tennis Shoes Among the Nephites. I just think it's interesting. Her hair fell below her waist, straight and black like a raven. Her grip on the sack slipped and several ears of corn tumbled to the ground. I hurried over to help.
Maybe the same actress who plays Menichin in my mind is playing.
Yeah, they're one and the same, yeah. I've got it, she said, her green eyes flashing coldly. She snatched is this going to be an enemies to lovers romance? She snatched the corn from me and went on her way. Good luck in the market, I called to her. I looked at Steed and winked. She likes me. You think every she-elf likes you, he said. They all do. Oh, Paul speaking from his own experience. Where do you think she gets her produce to sell? Steed asked. Her family probably runs a farm. Why? She looks like an orphan to me, Steed said, which we learned from the MAGA hat romance is the ideal way a woman can look, like an orphan.
Mm-hmm. Why are they all into orphans?
There's something there. There is truly something there that So you think I think because an orphan, an orphan woman, an orphan girl, she doesn't have the oversight of her family. I think that's really what it is.
No strings attached.
It's the easiest type of girl to sort of have under your thumb, which in the framework of the Christianity Paul seems to have been raised with, that would make sense.
Well, yeah, and
she's submissive.
The classic masculine dream is to be the caretaker, right?
Exactly.
And who needs more care?
Not even a dad to have to reckon with.
Yeah.
Don't have to face the shotgun at the door. That seems also to be a thing.
Yeah. It's just going to be you with the shotgun, keeping her in there. No parents.
So you think she's stealing, I asked? Steed shrugged. She best not be, I said, still following her with my gaze.
Orphans always be stealing. Hearts, first and foremost.
Yeah. So this main character, Pabs, he's got morals because
If little elfin Tanny comes to this, the orphan elf.
I am no longer seeing a word where he doesn't come to the Patreon follow-up of this episode. For the people who are enjoying this enough to want to read the whole thing with us. She best not be like a thief. Like he does not want a thief. Even though he's a fellow orphan, I guess he's managed to get by without thievery, which is honorable.
Yeah.
She best not be, I said, still following her with my gaze. Pretty or not, I don't go for thieves.
Are orphans allowed to join the special ops?
Probably not, because you have to have war elf parentage.
And if you ain't got parents, then...
I took a juicy bite of my plum and imagined it was breakfast pie. As if out of nowhere, 3 figures stood in our path. Well, look who it is, their leader said with a mean smirk. The chip elf commoners off to watch sheep. Okay, bullying in chapter 2. And he just seems like a good guy. He doesn't support stealing.
But
he's just an orphan trying to get by.
Boiling with violence.
Yeah, but he hungers for hobgoblin murder. Their names were Bent, Skagsley, and Farth. It sounds like British actor names. I don't know why. They were war elves who thought they were real tough ever since getting accepted into the MPS last fall. That's why he longs to be a war elf in the MPS, is because he's probably been bullied, oppressed by these guys his whole life. So he feels like becoming the oppressor with him is what's going to help him have safety, rather than let's change the system that says only some of you can be war elves.
I think by the end, the IDF will allow everybody
the MPS.
Yeah, sure.
Bent, the cruelest of the 3, was an inch or 2 taller than me, with a bit more muscle and a dark glint in his eyes. I don't like the sound of him. Bent as well, terrifying name. Something really bad about that.
Get bent.
But yeah, it's sounding homophobic. Strapped about each of their biceps was the official silk armband of an MPS scout. A crimson hawk was etched into the green silk, a symbol of bravery, skill, and power. Just a fun fact for anyone who cares, Paul does not use the Oxford comma, which is totally a choice he's allowed to make.
You're allowed to?
It makes sense that we would be polar opposites.
Yeah, I love using an Oxford comma.
I will use any punctuation at any time. I don't give a fuck.
Oh, yeah.
I stared at Bent's band with deep jealousy. It was unfair. You see something you like, Pabsy? Bent said. Bent, we should get going, Farth said. Chief Cato wants everyone up at training camp early. What are you looking at?
I just have a little screenshot of a meme that I'd like to share at some point.
Yeah, share it now.
The science behind THC plus alcohol as a combination is literally so interesting because it basically causes the crimson red duckling in your body to confront the serpent in the bronze vessel of your heart. Basically, you feel good because the duckling is able to eat the seeds. Just a little thought by DoomGen _. With that, I'm ready to get back to Paul Olive Garden's book. Gotta give you a break once in a while.
I know.
That's the other thing about reading versus like with retention. It's hard to just be like reading, performing. I just get to sit back and listen.
But if I'm not reading the book, I'm fully dissociating.
Yeah, that does.
Especially
that can happen.
in a warlike setting.
Oh yeah.
Right, Bent said, glaring at us. Somebody's got to do the important stuff around here. You chips better keep a careful eye on those sheep. They can bite. Skagsley and Farth laughed. It's giving Malfoy and his cronies in Harry Potter.
Definitely.
I wanted to pummel Bent right there. I stayed put. No wonder, if he's been a victim of all this unwarranted aggression his whole life, you'd want to lash out. You'd want to get revenge.
He's taking a bow and arrow to school.
But it's like, why do you want to become one of them?
So that he can bully people smaller and
that's the thing.
More and less blood entitled than him.
Yeah.
The hobgoblins.
We want to inflict the pain that's been inflicted on us.
Yeah, and that's why he's dying to kill.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like he's going to be breaking the cycle, but you never know.
But maybe breaking the systems of oppression, which forbid. I'm like, they want to kick gays out of the military? Good for the gays.
I'm like, can we get a little bit of information about why the hobgoblins are bad? Just like...
Well, they're wicked, evil, perverse, unchosen of God, heretics, apostates. Thieves, liars, scoundrels.
Ugly, weird.
Yeah, not even fun at parties.
Mm-hmm. Kind of like spooky, like kind of androgynous in a way that is uncomfortable.
Yep, doesn't use a turn signal.
As they strutted past, Bent bumped my arm. My plum tumbled to the grass. Still eating that plum. He's been eating it for like... The next second, I was on him. Squeezing as tightly as I could, I threw Bent to the ground. I jumped on top of him and reared back to punch, but Skagsley tackled me from behind.
Skagsley!
Eat dirt, Skagsley jeered, shoving my face into the grass.
Skagsley is the funniest name to be had in the elven world. Skagsley is like the name of like a gangster in the like 1940s inner city, like, hey, it's me and the Skagsley boys.
And you can never predict what rules he's going to play by.
And hey, Dirty Mo owes me 10 pieces of...
Steed joined the fight then, jumping on Skagsley's back. Oh, he's got more in him, I can tell.
They're a rough and tumble bunch.
Yeah, they are. You do not want to go up against these guys. I'm surprised he took the bait. It's like they have more power than you. They are of war elf parentage. You don't just want to be fucking with them because you don't have the same. You have to be on your best behavior. It's not fair, but that's how you survive in this system.
There's a pecking order.
Yeah. Steed joined the fight then, jumping on Skagsley's back. Skagsley tried to shake free, but Steed's chokehold grip was strong. I scrambled to my feet. My mistake was taking my eyes off Bent. Two rough hands grabbed my shirt and hurled me back down. The impact stole my breath. I expected fists to start wailing on me, but when I looked up...
You take my breath away.
Bent had joined Farth in an effort to peel Steed from Skagsley. Skagsley's face was a pale blue and his eyes bulged. Help, Skagsley wheezed. Get your crazed brother off him, Bent said. He can't breathe. Steed, I said, let go. Steed unblocked his arms. Skagsley hobbled sideways, sucking in deep breaths. Bent stared at me. I stared back. For a moment, no one spoke. Then Bent said, you're lucky we can't stay longer. Chilling, and I fear that that's going to come back to bite him.
Say get bent.
They left. I hate those guys, I said, picking grass out of my hair. Now we're going to be late for sure. Are you okay? I'm great. Steed wore a goofy smile. Toxic positivity. Little brother toxic positivity. Raced you to the gate. We sprinted around the marketplace.
Yeah.
What?
LBTP.
We sprinted around the marketplace, the shops, the sculptures of wood and crystal, and then past the many tree cottages that crowded the west side of the clearing. It sounds lovely in this world.
Yeah.
Gradually.
It's just like you'd have to occasionally fight. You're not allowed to join the kill machine, but it is like a lovely view sometimes.
And you sleep in a hammock. You probably don't get to... He doesn't sound like they live in a cottage. They're kind of fending for themselves in the trees. Yeah. But they have got a pretty sick willow.
Yeah.
So it could be worse. Gradually, the cottages gave way to open land, and soon Farmer Brimes's barn and stables were in view. Neck and neck, Steed and I shot down the home stretch. I pulled a half step ahead, but Steed grabbed my shirt. I yanked free. I lowered my shoulder and gave Steed a bump, harder than I meant to, throwing him off balance and sending him sprawling sideways onto the grass. I made it to the gate 10 paces ahead of my bro chap. I leaned on the gatepost, panting. You're getting faster. I'll get you back for that, Steve said, brushing grass from his pant legs.
Does he have to say his bro chap every time?
Is that how you would write pant legs?
Should we take a shot every time he says
yeah.
pant
Be happy
legs?
to take shots.
I certainly would not have 2 G's in pant legs. Why?
Again, we don't believe in spelling or grammar or syntax or anything like that, so don't get it twisted. But it is an unusual spelling of pant legs, which I would have imagined as 2 separate words, the word pant and the word legs. This is one word, pant, P-A-N-T-L-E-G-G-G-S.
It's because it's pant legs that are made out of eggs, presumably.
Yeah, like maybe in this universe, it's just like a slightly different thing.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing, we are world building here.
Yeah, they got egg pants. Who am I to say what pants people got fabrics made out of?
Never judge a man until you've walked a mile in his pant
egg
legs.
pants. He's yoked, okay, heavily.
I turned to the sheep and shouted, "Time to go, sheepies." At the sound of my voice, the whole herd crowded to the gate, pushing and baying.
I wonder if they like
excitedly.
the smell of the eggs. Maybe that has something to do with it. They're like chasing. Like my pant legs.
Really an upsetting
Like,
message. It's interesting that sheep are coming in, the sheep herding. I feel like that's a very Christian theme, right? Jesus is supposed to be the good
what I'm
shepherd.
saying.
This is a good shepherd.
King David, yeah. King David, King Jesus.
I was not picking up on that. Looks like our
But
lucky...
also coming with a sword.
yeah.
Because he's got an itch to kill, baby, just like Jesus. He's
that's
like,
the one thing,
I
Jesus-
cannot wait to fry up this world. If we could just get a few more billion people to really steam this place up, then we're going to fucking kill everybody.
Yeah. Jesus was great, would never disrespect him, like his work, but he didn't have a sword.
He did, not yet. He's got one now.
Kind of the one thing that could have taken him to... Yeah, I mean, he's got... Looks like our lucky day, Steed said over the noise. There's no sign of Brimes. Good. I squatted and unfastened the latch. Let's get the herd to the wood's edge. The wood's edge? Won't Brimes be mad if he finds out? We won't take them all the way to the woods, I said. Aren't you bored of the inner grazing pastures? Okay, so the hero of the story is going to go outside the boundaries of what he's normally allowed to do. Pushing boundaries. Developmentally normal.
Wow. What do his Christian parents have to say about it?
I know.
Guess he doesn't have Christian
Shame
parents.
on you, Pads.
They're dead.
Because he's an orphan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's just out there making his own rules.
I think maybe better than like the virgin teenage mum thing would be if Jesus was an orphan. Like he never knew who his parents were. I think that could maybe have been more
Yeah, he just kind
more
of
powerful.
like spawned.
Yeah.
Yeah. He just like walked out of the woods one day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I heaved the gate ajar and the sheep surged forward. We led them out from the stables with whistles and hand signals and the occasional whack to a sheep's rump. Shortly, that made such a pop. I hated myself for it. It's like, what have I become? I'm both American and a pretentious Brit at the same time, and it's so
Did you
weird.
see that comment recently that was like, I know you're faking your accent. I'm from England and nobody talks like
me?
that. Yeah.
Rude. Shortly, the sheep calmed and the pace became steady. The thick stripe of trees came into view. How close are we going to take them? Steed asked. A little further. We stopped in an open field, a rock's throw from the tree line. Daisies and purple clovers dotted the place, the perfect snack for a hungry sheep. It's like Paul's got like some nice like cottagecore elements to his like world building. Like it's like he played Animal Crossing, or he's got
watched a
some nice
Miyazaki
stuff in
movie.
there. Yeah. Are Christians allowed to watch
too
things
chaotic.
from Japan? The sun was high now and a warm breeze ruffled the grass and lowermost tree branches. The herd fanned out and began to graze. The nice thing about sheep, unlike goats or long-haired wobblers, is that a made-up animal?
Yeah. Though I've seen a few long-haired wobblers and let me tell you, they do be wobbling.
Is sheep rarely run off. This meant that as long as we stayed close, we didn't have to watch them all that diligently. I feel like they are going to get in trouble though. Face me and prepare to do battle, I said, wielding my staff. Steed lifted his staff. Come at me, villain. I charged my bro chap. And what relationship is Paul honoring with this? I mean...
Is it just his best bud? Is it his homie, his dog, his rotten soldier, his chief cheese, his humbled nimbus, his Oreo cream, his...
I charged my bro chap and there sounded many great clanks of wood on wood. The herd was used to our staff practice and paid us no heed. At the end of round 1, in which there was no clear winner, Steed and I lowered our weapons to rest. I rubbed a tender spot on my arm that was starting to bruise and looked about the sheep. I noticed that a small group had wandered right up to the wood's edge. I'll get them, I said. Hey, sheepies, I called, still a ways off. How Paul thinks sheep herders talk. Sheepies? Maybe they do. I'm not the person to ask. What did you find? You need to come back over. Yes. A huge venom spitter emerged from the woods.
Venom spitter?
The sheep turned and ran. The spider, oh, that's a spider. This chapter is called Spider, right? Spiders. Scary.
Uh-oh. We've got what's the Lord of the Rings? A Shelob situation. Or what's the Harry Potter big snake? Or big...
Basilisk.
No, not the snake, the spider.
There's a big spider
Aragog.
in Harry Potter.
Aragog.
Oh, yeah. That's in Harry Potter, Aragog?
This one's probably Magog. Little Bible joke for Bible fans in this.
The sheep turned and ran. The spider crawled quickly after them, hissing and clicking. Steed, I yelled. Fear and excitement surged through my body. This was our chance to prove we could fight. He is just itching for a fight because I think he really wants to fight his dead parents for not being there for him.
Oh, shit. Damn. Do you think they'll get to that in the innermost cave?
One way or another. I'm here. Hiss, hiss. 3 more spiders appeared. Stay with me, I said. Dodge their venom and don't get bit.
Okay.
I would never.
Genius. I was planning on it.
I raised my staff and shot off
it.
toward the closest venom spitter. A clear, high-pitched whistle cut through the noise. I turned and saw 3 members of the MPS rushing toward us. In seconds, they were at our side. You two, shouted one, whom I now recognized to be Ryland, a gallant well known for his discipline and fierceness in battle. Gallant is capitalized, so that's like a type of person. A gallant?
Yeah, it's like a knight, probably.
Okay. His sharp features and dark grey eyes gave him a harsh appearance. Get these sheep back to protected pastures. He drew a long, thin blade from the sheath on his back. We'll handle the spiders. We can fight, I said. Let us help you. Why would you voluntarily want to go up against venomous spiders when you don't have to? I'd be like, no, let the richer people do that.
There's like, it's the,
bloodlust.
Yeah. He's there with the magnifying glass. That's how they should fight these guys.
What movie was that in, Harry Potter?
That one's just kind of like, angsty kid using...
to kill a spider?
Yeah, just like killing ants just for the fun of it.
Horrid. Don't backtalk me, Chip Elf. He shoved me. Go, get the sheep.
Shit elf? What did he call him?
Chip Elf.
A chip elf?
But Chip was like capitalized, so maybe that's like his elf clan.
Is that a slur?
It's sounding slurred. I think it's like mudblood, maybe.
Wow.
I wanted to... Sorry, I keep bringing...
You don't even have war in you. I think it makes sense to quote the most well-known
it does.
fantasy franchises.
I didn't read a ton of fantasy growing up,
time.
so that's like my only reference. I wanted to protest, but I resisted the urge. While the 3 war elves engaged the spiders, Steed and I set to rounding up the panicked herd. After a lot of yelling and rump-whacking, we got the sheep moving in the same direction, away from danger. I glanced over my shoulder. One of the venom spitters lay dead in the field. Several of its legs were missing and arrows covered its body. The 2 remaining spiders retreated back into the trees with the MPS warriors in pursuit. We led the herd on. We rounded Farmer Brime's barn and I groaned. Brimes hurried toward us, his feet pounding the earth with each step. His face was a mean shade of red. Get my sheep back in the pen and then get off my land, he screamed. You can't follow simple directions. It's a miracle the MPS made it in time. I was a fool to hire you in the first place. Oh my God, they're going to get fired.
This is their big gig,
orphans,
though. Ugh.
They need to know their place. Like, I'm not trying to be rude, but it's like...
Yeah, you should be selling newspapers.
You gotta survive, yeah.
Something like that. Something a little more wholesome, okay? That's allowed.
Just take the $10 and then turn the $10 into $100 and then buy a duplex with the felt and then work your way up. You got to start at the bottom, and it's just kind of feeling like you guys aren't willing to do that.
Just borrow $700,000 from your nearest friend and, yeah, just start a little investment business.
We obeyed. When all the sheep were in the pen, Steed and I walked slowly home. Sitting beneath the shade of our willow tree, I divided up what was left of yesterday's purchase from the market. A hunk of cheese, some pine nuts, and a cinnamon muff cake. Every time in a book, there's just like a hunk of cheese wrapped in cloth. Like, it just sounds so good to me.
Oh, yeah. That's some... Did you ever read the Redwall books?
Mm-mm.
Oh, I think I've probably asked you that before. Just some really in-depth descriptions of some like wholesome ass picnics. That's what I feel like anytime there's like a cheese, like I'm just like a little mouse. Like,
yeah.
Let me remove my cheese.
I was really drawn towards books about girls at boarding school growing up, and they'd always have like midnight feasts. I can't remember the specific series I read. It was like, not Faulty Towers, something Towers. The food, though not much, was satisfying and eased the bitterness I felt toward Farmer Brimes and everything else in life. I sighed. Sorry, bro chap. I was stupid taking the herd to the wood's edge. Now we've lost our biggest job. We can get another job, Steed said. Beatty the beetroot, totally forgot about him, so glad he's back, always cheers everyone up, scuttled over to watch us eat. Want some muff cake, Beatty, I said. I knew Beatty couldn't eat elf food, but I tossed him a crumb anyway.
Just to egg him on.
It's like when I give Banksy a chip. Beatty poked the crumb several times and then sat on it. Banksy caw. I sighed again. I was about to suggest that we leave in search of work. If we were lucky, someone might still hire us for the late shift when a great noise boomed throughout the clearing. The horn of assembly, Steve and I said together. I felt a surge of excitement. The horn meant a big announcement, as horns tend to do.
Oh, yeah.
What do you think it's for? Steed asked. Let's find out, I said, and stuffed in the last of my muff cake. I grabbed my staff and tossed Steed his. Then we shot off for the village
They're
square.
talking about it like it's not mandatory.
The horn of assembly?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's feeling a little bit 1984. It feels like you kind of have to go
Yeah.
or an all-hands marketing meeting, which very
Same
1984
thing.
sometimes in its vibes. Well, I kind of want to just find out what the horn of assembly is about, and then maybe we can leave it there for this video and return. So chapter 3, the horn of assembly. By the time we arrived, a large crowd had gathered at Emerald Fountain. The fountain was a striking structure, a dragon carved of rare green crystal. Water streamed from its mouth. At present, all eyes were on Chief Cato. The MPS leader stood upon
Cato?
Yes, Cato.
Isn't there already a big Cato? I mean, Cato is a name from mythology. Or history, question mark?
The MPS leader stood upon the dragon's outstretched
Just like when there's
wing.
human and elven crossover.
Yeah, gazing into the crowd. Okay,
It's like our resident genius, Elfstein.
Chief Cato. So Chief Cato is just like the leader of the the MPS leader.
The idea.
Though I had never shared words with Chief Cato, I admired him greatly. Everyone did. Red flag.
Yeah.
It's like he's worshipped by everyone in his own land.
A true prophet would never.
Yeah. If you don't hate him and want to stone him in the streets, he probably doesn't have anything worth saying. His features were strong, his eyes deep set and firm. His leadership and bravery had saved the village from enemy raids many times and made us a respected force in the lower woodlands. I mean, that's fair enough, you know.
How big is this village, I wonder?
Woodland size.
I mean, a woodland could be pretty big. How many
Hard to
elves can you
say.
fit in a wood?
Momentarily, Chief Cato motioned to speak. The crowd went silent. Good elves of Happy Wood. That's such an adorable name for Paul's little. His voice was calm yet commanding.
Where we never do murder or kill.
Unless we absolutely have to.
But we're not allowed to join the murder squad.
I called us together to announce open tryouts for the Monster Protection Squadron. It's all happening. It is all happening. My eyes grew wide. Any elf, no matter the bloodline, is welcome.
It's an invincible situation.
This is like, though, when they have like poor people audition for American Idol or something, and it's like, technically in this competition, anyone can make it. Mm-hmm. The tryouts will be at first light tomorrow at MPS training camp. Chief Cato concluded with a nod. Mutterings of bewilderment and awe swept through the crowd. I stood unblinking, too excited to move.
Elfland's next top orphan.
Oh my God. Also, he just dreamt about it last night. Bit of a prophecy, it seems like.
Oh, yeah. A precognizant dream.
We were just talking about that. How could this be, I wondered? Was this another dream? This wasn't a dream. We could try out. Smiling broadly, I looked at Steed. Bro chap. My voice was a shaky whisper. This is our chance. Back at Hero Tree, Steed and I fought with our shepherd staffs. I hope we'll be able to show off our staff skills, I said, blocking a low swing. I spun my staff and jabbed, thumping Steed a good one in the gut. Oomph. Steed dropped to his knees.
I'm just a pervert. Anytime wood
Yeah, wood on wood.
wood on wood
Yeah.
is thumping each other, it's just,
Yeah.
you can take all that out. I'm just...
Steed dropped to his knees, laughing and gasping for breath. I bet we will, he said shortly. Lots of the MPS carry staffs. The ones they use are shorter and heavier than ours, though. He struck me unexpectedly from the ground, sweeping my legs out from under me. I landed on my back with a thud. Yip, yip, BT squeaked.
Like literary analysis would talk about that being representative of their penises and the homoerotic tension between them.
And what would literary analysis say about BT? Because I'm really struggling to suss him out. I'm like, what's his fucking game? He's just like, yip, yip, all the time.
Yeah, it probably plays across better in movies, but Paul's like, what is the best thing in any movie? It's having like a little tiny little
Adorable
character.
little enchanted beetroot.
Yeah.
What that enchanted beetroot do, though, we haven't found out yet. Yeah.
But it's probably going to save the day at some point. I hope it's
so.
better.
Yeah.
It's like, all hope is lost. And then it's like, beep, beep, beep.
BT saves the day.
Yeah.
You think that's funny, do you? I held a clump of grass at BT, partially burying him.
Jesus. Chill out. The guy's a tiny enchanted beet. Some of my
You
best
mean
friends
so
are
hard.
tiny enchanted beats, and it's not easy living among either humans or elves. They're both like huge and giant. And
Yeah, if you think it's hard being a shepherd orphan, try being a beetroot orphan.
Yeah,
And enchanted, no one can relate to you.
yeah, it's hard
With
to
great
like.
power comes great responsibility, but all you can say is yeep yeep.
Yeah, it's really tough out there. You can't like express your innermost world, which is actually really rich.
Complex,
but,
yeah.
Like all they can hear is beep beep beep.
I think if he had ears to listen, he'd be saying more than yeep yeep.
Yeah.
I just think that's what Pabs is hearing. Well, a strong start, I think. I'm curious. I'm invested. Sounds like there's going to be a lot of sword play, which, we did just emerge from, but
that's fantasy, baby.
Yeah.
Swords be swinging,
yeah.
songs be singing, and truth be ringing. I wonder if this will be a Narnian kind of metaphor, or if Paul's allowed to just live out a story without having to make it about
That's what I love
Christianity.
about stuff like this. I'm like, what's the story Paul wants to live out?
Yeah.
What is it?
We're going to find out.
I truly think the fiction people feel called to write, especially first.
I think
It says so much.
I think Bloodfang is going to be like a horrible monster that he's supposed to kill, but then he's going to end up taming the dog Bloodfang, and it's going to become
I hope
his
so. If it's like a
friend, but
pacifist message.
I think it's going to help him like kill hobgoblins.
And what if it's like that Black
Probably.
Mirror episode where it's like you've been trained to see these hobgoblins as evil and disposable, but what if the hobgoblins are actually just trying to tell you something about your own humanity?
Yeah.
And you're not listening.
Yeah.
Just like you never listen to Beatty, who has no beef with the hobgoblins inexplicably.
Yeah. Riddle me that.
Riddle me
He
that.
just lives in genuine peace.
Yeah.
Can't join the military or nothing, but doesn't make a stink about it. I almost want to do a episode 2.
I know. It's going to be good. Join our Patreon if you want to keep reading this book with us, because we paid for the whole thing. So.
And we're cruising already.
Yeah, we've already reached the first big drama of the book. We got there quickly. Can't always say the same for some of the other authors we've read. I felt like this was good pacing from Paul. It was world building. There were things happening. We still had like miniature dramas like the spiders and the dream, there was stuff going on.
Yeah. Starting out with the dream sequence. Love it.
Love it. Yeah. I'm on my toes. I don't know
Dream
which way is up,
sequences
which way
are
is
for
up.
everyone.
Paul's immediately like controlling the narrative for us. It's like we can't predict it. It's good stuff. Okay, well, thank you for being here.
We love you so much.
We love you so much. May we all slay whatever hobgoblins we need to slay in our lives.
Yeah.
May we not let the glass ceiling constrict us.
May our enemies get bent.
Yep. But also may we try not to be too reactive to the people that can.
Yeah. All right. Good
Love
luck
you,
dealing with
bye.
all your venom shooting spiders.
Yeah, best of luck to you all.